Welcome to Yoga Marketer, the podcast for yoga teachers everywhere. Now you're a part of a small group of yoga teachers trying to change the world by sharing your passion for yoga. We do this by learning how to market your yoga business, but because this important topic was left out of your yoga teacher training, we have to learn it, live it, and share it. In this podcast, we will give you a glimpse of how to market your yoga business. Welcome back to Yoga Marketer. This is Raphael. Today we're going to talk about opening a yoga studio, and this could be chapter 1 of 100 because there's so much to talk about in this. But I'll start off right away with some content of opening a yoga studio. And if you already own a yoga studio, hopefully this can shed some light on some of the things that you could possibly adjust or change or just completely overhaul your yoga studio, because sometimes you'll find yourself so buried or blind or have these blinders on to what you've got going on now that sometimes it's good to see it from a different perspective. So I'll dive right into it. So the first part of opening a yoga studio is having a strategic business outline, not a plan, not something that you write out and you don't really need this fancy yoga business plan. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you plan, as long as you don't plan to fail, of course, but it doesn't matter how much you plan on a little piece of paper. Things always happen inside your yoga business and will happen, from the lease in the studio to someone getting injured in your studio, from some teacher that's not teaching safe yoga to the toilet not flushing. I mean, all those things you can't really put inside a business plan. You can't. It's always good to have a plan to succeed. Of course, we don't have a plan to fail, but if we don't have an outline of a structured yoga business, then it's gonna fail no matter what. And when it comes to the retail spot that you choose, the rent is always going to fluctuate, right? The lease or the rent or whatever you would like to call it. The lease or the rent is always going to fluctuate based on where you're at in a small town, or if you're in LA, New York City, somewhere where the rent is going to be a lot higher. And you can't sustain a yoga business with just some trial memberships or trials in a yoga membership. It's not going to work. I see a lot of articles posted by a lot of publications, whether it's Elephant Journal or Yoga Journal or blog posts of another yoga studio closing, and it all comes down to the lack of effective marketing. And I'm going to lay out a plan for you. So make sure you're taking some notes. If you're driving, make sure you pull over, take out a piece of paper, because I'm going to lay this out for you step by step in this podcast. I may have a second part to this. I'm not going to have this super long podcast, but this is very imperative that you start right, and if you haven't, then you change course. Now, some of the information or some of the topics that I'm going to cover, you may not have access to them. For example, yoga teacher trainings. You may not be certified to teach yoga teacher trainings or to have your registered yoga school from Yoga Alliance, and that's okay. But we're going to talk about getting creative and still being able to offer the solution to the members, because that's what it's about. It's offering a solution to the member. Now, from the point of entry, when a new member comes in, even if they're just trying for a class or a trial, they are starting what's called a yoga journey. So just because they're starting now and let's say they're brand new, doesn't mean that they're not going to advance over to yoga teacher training. No, it's not like you're going to meet them now and say, hey, do you want to sign up for yoga teacher training? I saw that you Shavasana really well. It just doesn't work that way. Now, if we acknowledge that every member has a yoga journey, and our job in the community is to hold their space to help them get there. Now, imagine this is going to be offered from the very small value and then also small dollar amount, meaning the journey, as it grows, it also the investment grows for them, meaning a free yoga class, there's really not much there, right? Or if you do a trial membership, it may be about $30 to $50 for a trial membership. then we get into retail, and then we start going up this ladder of value that you're giving them based on the solution that they need. So let's start off with the first one is going to be free yoga. This could be that you're not known in your community. Let's say you just moved there and you're trying to grow a small community that will help you launch your yoga studio. So you may offer yoga at the park, free yoga somewhere, and make sure you have waivers for this. I did a training inside of one of our groups that's free. It's just head on over to yogatribe.co, and it's in there. You can look through the free training on doing the free yoga. Free yoga, it's okay to do them, just not overdo them, and then also make sure you're compliant. You have your insurance and your waivers, and everybody's filled them out. And there's a lot of creative ways how to make sure you sell out your free yoga class as well through Facebook and some other tools that I've shared in the past. So from free yoga, the next logical step is going to be to get them to a trial membership. Now there's a lot of different options out there, and a lot of them get hung up on $50 or $30 or $20 for 2 weeks. The one that I've tested over and over again is this one's the one that works. And the reason why it works is because everyone is busy, and if you give them a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, everyone is busy. They have children, they're married, and just time doesn't allow us to go and try all the yoga teachers or all the yoga classes. And as much as we'd like to, we just can't. So the best one that has worked is $30 for 30 days. Now, depending on where you live, this may not be something that may be appealing for you, because if my rent is $5,000 a month, just the rent alone, how am I going to be able to pay that with just $30 for 30 days? At least consider the 30-day option, because the 30-day option gives them enough time to try it out for a full month. And then there's a lot of different things that you can do throughout that full month to build and nurture that relationship. I think I did another podcast on this, on how to build and nurture the relationship of your new members. So that's what you want to do for the first 30 days, is nurture that relationship. Now at the end of the trial, now you've gone from free yoga, your trial, and now you're going to offer a solution, which is going to be, you've tried out the free yoga, you've done the free month, now it's time to commit or go away. Meaning they're going to commit and become a monthly part of your tribe, or they can buy a class pass or any other way to get involved. So once their trial is up, then you can make an offer to a yoga membership, whatever pricing that may be for you. That's just the next logical solution. So some are going to say yes, they're going to vote with their wallet, and some are going to say no, this is not the studio for me. I like restorative, or I like yin, and you're just offering vinyasa. Well, that's the feedback that you're going to have to take and do something with in order for you to keep growing. Otherwise, this doesn't work at all. So now that we're at free yoga, trial membership, the next step in their yoga journey is going to be retail, right? Retail is something that you could offer. Now, not everyone's going to offer retail. You have to have a retail account, and then usually you buy the product for 50% off and you sell it for 50% product, but then you have merchant fees. And sometimes retail just scared me, because you see the stuff on the shelf, and the shelf life is months sometimes, so it's just money just sitting there. So do some research and be very selective with what you're buying in advance, and almost make sure you pre-sell it before you even get it through the door, like yoga mats and yoga towels and all of those things that they are going to need, because there's going to be wear and tear on some of those mats. Now, they're already in your studio, so doesn't it just make sense to offer them a yoga mat or a yoga towel or a water bottle or something that they're already there, so they don't have to go online or they don't have to go on Amazon. They're already in your studio, and they're looking for you to give them the next logical option to their yoga journey. Now, we've gone through free yoga, trial membership,
offering them retail, and the next step is going to be offering them private yoga classes. Sometimes this can vary if they're not comfortable or committed to growing their practice. There's two options to this. You can offer a private yoga class, which can get pretty expensive. I've seen the packages for $50, $500, and to some of them saying, I'm already paying $100 a month plus, why should I invest in this? Well, here's the alternative. Offer 2 classes a month, one for beginners and one for advanced students, and then they're able to enroll into a group class that they can go into, and you can either offer this for free, included in their membership, or you can also offer this as an added bonus and do a small upsell to that group. The next logical step in their journey is going to offer a workshop. In this workshop, you don't have to put the curriculum together. If you're not an expert in this, this is okay. Don't get stuck here. But you will need to offer some sort of workshop. Why? Because they just crave it. It's part of their journey, not yours, not mine. But time and time again, we've tested this out, and they're craving for something new, something different. So whether it's a meditation workshop, it could be maybe an acro yoga workshop, it could be something completely different out of the norm that you normally offer, because they're just going to get tired of the same thing over and over again. And it'll be fun to bring someone else from the outside, and they can learn something new. Now, here's something else that you would have to consider. What is going to be the split between the person hosting the workshop and hosting it at your studio? Be very selective, do your screening, and be enough that you're getting enough of a cut of a split between both parties to make sure that if it's expected for you to promote it, then you have enough money or revenue, not including the taxes, not including the split to offer this through Facebook ads or Google ads or YouTube ads. There's a lot of marketing involved, and sometimes there's not enough money that's being offered to you to take that split. And even though you would like to host it, make sure that you're putting that in advance. Who's hosting it? Who's responsible for promoting it? And what is the expectation and the outcome? If you're not very clear from the very beginning, before any money is exchanged, it can be a nightmare when it comes to workshops. Sometimes there's a prerequisite, and it's usually 12 people or more. Otherwise, they just shut the whole thing down. So make sure you're doing your due diligence and making sure that you're when you're offering this to your tribe, you're being respectful of them, and you're not just bringing anybody into your studio. The next thing that they crave in their yoga journey is a yoga retreat. So they've gone through the free yoga, they tried the membership, now they signed up for a membership, now they've gone to a workshop. The next logical thing is to take the yoga outside the studio and give them a completely different experience. This could be a weekend getaway somewhere nearby, or this could be an international yoga retreat like we've done before in Bali, Thailand, and Costa Rica. There's a lot of different places that you could take your tribe, but only if that's what they're craving at that time. So again, it's a journey. Not everyone is going to be on board, but that is going to be the next step. And also the cost, as I'm going through all of this, writing this down, know that the cost is going up. The cost is going up from the membership to the workshop, to the yoga retreat. And then at the very last option is going to be yoga teacher training. Because yoga teacher training gets offered about $2,500 to about $5,000, depending if you're going international. Then there's your stay, there's your food, and it gets more expensive. However, the profit to the studio goes up at the same time. So you're offering them a solution, and they're also investing into their yoga journey, into their future. Now, not everyone will become a yoga teacher, but the value goes up and a little bit more. So for example, for a yoga teacher training, if you're offering it for $3,000 and your net after everything's about let's say $2,000. Let's say it costs you $2,000 to market, to obtain them, to put the material together. It takes you one person to make $2,000 than it does for someone paying their yoga membership. How many people does it take to have someone on a trial membership to make $2,000. And that's the vision of growing a yoga business. And growing a yoga studio is making sure that you have a journey for them. And this is the proven method that I found has catapulted our yoga business, is to make sure that you have this journey plan into place. Now, this is a layout. This is not a business plan. There's some nitty and gritty in here, but the beauty of all this is that it gives me a vision to also plan out my marketing. There's a marketing copy, there's marketing images, there's a marketing monthly calendar throughout the whole year for each and every single of these options that we offer. So there's a lot of benefits to having this into place. It correlates and it transfers to other areas of the yoga business or the yoga studio. When it comes to opening a yoga studio, if you already have one and you're not offering all of this, even if you're not certified to teach yoga teacher trainings, bring in someone from the outside until you can host your own. I mean, there's so many different ways to be creative. There's not having any of these options in the studio is not a solution. It's not an option per se. You have to do this because the net has to grow. What happens through yoga business, if you've already been in your yoga business or you have a studio, you'll know that there's seasons. And the season, sometimes it slows down and sometimes it picks up. So we use some of the workshops, we use some of the yoga teacher trainings to offset those slow seasons and make sure that we have consistent months, month over month, and making sure that there's no flaws, meaning sometimes you're going to take a 2-month dip during the summer and then and wait for the fall or winter to come and pick up. You want to make sure that your business is consistent and is cash flow rich. It's still growing. So I'll stop here. I think I'm at about 17-20 minutes now going into opening a yoga studio. Like I said, there's so much more that I can dive into, but what comes to mind is just making sure you have this in plan. If you don't have this won't give you a vision. You'll always be asking, what do I do next, or what do they want, or should I change the time of the class, or should I bring someone on board, or what teacher should I hire and how much should I pay them? This is a very clear picture of how to grow your yoga studio. So hopefully this helped you out, and if you want to talk a little bit more about this, head on over to our free community. Head on over to yogatribe.co and just request to join the group. It's absolutely free, and then introduce yourself, and then we'll be sharing some more thoughts and ideas. And I may do a follow-up on this if I get a lot more questions on opening your yoga studio. Hope you enjoy this information, and I'll see you on the next episode.